Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Yamaha XSR900 GP. Now, I went on the launch of this bike, as some of you will know, follow my channel, link at the top. Loved it on the launch in Portugal. It wasn't the best of launches, the roads weren't brilliant, etc, etc. I've also taken this bike on track at Brands Hatch, so I'll link another video at the top. So I have taken this little bike around Brands Hatch. What with the announcement of the R9 coming, and this, which is using this same platform, but yeah, admittedly a different frame. It does have a different frame, but it's very much based on this platform. I thought it was about time I tested this bike again. Like I say, I did a track day. I've also been using it on the road for the last 2 weeks. So I even rode it up to Brands Hatch, which is about 60 miles, about 120 miles round trip, and rode it back in the rain. So I've tested out all the lights, all that sort of stuff. So if you're interested in the XSR900 GP, this could be the video for you. So settle yourself down, get yourself a cup of tea, and chopsy, roll the intro. I do apologise, it is a little bit mucky. I haven't cleaned it since my track day. I've just realised I haven't even pumped my tyres up. So my tyres are still running a little bit low, sort of track pressures. Not ridiculously low, but I just took a little bit out of them for the track day. But yeah, this bike is superb. I mean, it's based on the XSR900, but Yamaha decided to do this sort of retro-inspired sort of colour scheme with the fairings, and you know, they don't say, they're not, what they said on the launch of this machine is Yamaha, they're not trying to make a particular bike, they're just taking influences from sort of the 80s racers. This is what this is based on. I mean, you can see elements of sort of YZF 500, TZR 250 sort of elements on this bike. I mean, if you look at the back, you've got this little grille here, again sort of YZR 500 inspired. But this bike is a superb little bike. So what we'd do, I'll don my helmet and I'll take you for a little spin through the countryside, and I'll tell you a bit more about it and how I've got on with it. So the older XSR900 with this CP3 motor, I mean, everybody knows, just do my jacket up, everybody knows the CP3 motor is superb. I mean, I think it's one of those engines, you know, one of the best, or certainly one of the best Yamaha engines. But I'd go as far to say, you know, it's one of the best engines currently available. And Yamaha know it, because they basically chucking it in everything now, including this new R9. The XSR range has it, obviously the Tracer has it, even the Nikon has it, doesn't it? Even the Nikon has this engine. So, you know, it's thoroughly used, thoroughly tested. There's no nasty surprises with this engine, you know. I can't think when it came out. Well, originally, it came out in the original MT-09. Was that the first time it made an appearance, this engine? But anyway, it's been going for a fair few years now. Almost 10 years, I'd say. Almost. And what's so great about it is exactly what I just showed you then. It's that low down grunt, the sort of grunt you've got below 6,000 revs. I mean, it's only 117 horsepower, torque figure I think about 90 foot-pounds, 90 newton meters, sorry. I'll pop it on the screen. It's something like that. It's not silly, you know. It's very much a middleweight, even though it is almost 900cc. You know, the power output, the torque output puts it in that middleweight category. Yeah, I know it's nearly a litre bike. It doesn't matter. It's where the power output is to what classes it as a middleweight motorcycle. But it's a fantastic power plant. I love it. I mean, I love the MT-09, the new one especially, and the SP is absolutely superb. There's plenty of punch, plenty of go. I mean, if you rev it round, you know, actually it's fast as well. You know, I'll put some clips of my recent Brands Hatch track day on, you know, and it flies, this thing. You know, there's people on You know, GSXR750s, and out the corners it was sticking with them, you know. It's got a load of grunt. It's all about that torque, and because it's a triple, you get that power at the top as well. So it's almost like this, a triple engine is almost like the best of both. You know, if you've got the torque of a twin, a V-twin I would say, a torque of a twin, and then you've got that bit of top end as well of straight four. So you've got a bit of both, and I think it makes for a really nice punchy little engine. So the engine's fantastic. What else I love about this is what they've done with the riding position. Of course, we now know the R9 is coming, so there was no point making this like a track, you know, a full-on track bike with a full-on track sort of riding position. This machine is very much like sports bike light, let's call it. You know, you've got clip-ons, but they're above the yokes, you know, they're way above the yoke. The foot pegs are a reasonable height. I mean, I'm 6'2", I can pull my legs up onto these pegs easily, you know, and on track I didn't get any touchdown of the pegs. So it's, you know, it's a comfortable, it's still a, you know, it is a little bit sports bikey. It's very much like the, you know, the RS660, that sort of riding position. But you've got a little bit of weight on your wrists, not too much, but a little bit. And what that gives you, it gives you that feel from the front end, because you've got weight over the front end. The brakes are also very, very nice. They're not on track, they felt a little bit wooden, but since being on track and giving them big hoiks, they've actually, I think the pads must have been a little bit glazed. And they're actually much better now, and there's loads of stopping power. The suspension is also upgraded compared to what's on the normal XSR. It's pretty decent. I think it's got KYB suspension all round, fully adjustable, and even when you're going on the brakes, yeah, there's not a lot of fork dive, really, considering, you know. And I've not really even played with the suspension. You've got remote preload adjuster, so I wound that up to maximum for the track. And obviously I'm 20 stone, so it needs to be maximum anyway. Probably I could have a play around with the forks and put a bit more preload into the forks, but to be honest, even on track I found it fine. I haven't needed to play with it too much. And again, you've got a good, you know, it's not rock hard, it's comfortable, it glides over the potholes. It's in that Goldilocks zone, I'd say, the suspension on this bike. I really like it. As a road machine, I'd say it's perfect from a suspension point of view and a riding position point of view as well. Alright, let's get in front of this essential scaffold van before there's some sort of final destination incident. The balance of the bike also feels sort of just right. It's the chassis is the same as the XSR, and the XSR also has the tracer swinging arm. So you've got the tracer swinging arm, not the MT09 swinging arm, which means the bike's pretty stable. You know, it's not pulling the wheel up. It gets a little bit, in first gear it'll pull the wheel up a little bit, but it's all quite locked to the road. You know, it's very stable, very sort of neutral feeling. You know, it changes direction pretty fast, but it all feels sort of quite natural, quite neutral. It's not going to scare you, you know. It's very stable, I would say, because it's got this quite long swinging arm from the tracer, you know. And even through town at 30 miles an hour, you know, the fueling is beautiful. Yamaha used to be, you know, one of the, they were quite behind with their fueling of their bikes. I think they struggled to get things nice and smooth for sort of the Euro emissions, but now these days the fueling is absolutely cock on. Trail that front brake a little bit. Yeah, fueling's lovely. You know, you don't need to think, oh, I'm going to have to invest in power command. Oh, those days are gone, aren't they, when you're buying bikes and you're having to buy power commanders and you know, stuff like that to fix manufacturers' fueling issues. There's nothing more annoying than buying a bike and then have to go aftermarket to fix the fueling. Well, those days are gone, and certainly all the Yamaha range are now beautifully fueled. And another thing which I think Yamaha have done really well, especially for sort of middleweight motorcycles, stay there sir, is they've packed this with electronics. And I know electronics, people, you know, some people, it gets their back up straight away, doesn't it? Oh, electronics, oh dear, you can keep that, don't want that. Well, the latest generation of electronics which are on this bike are superb. You don't know you've got them, you know. You can isolate your wheelie control and your traction control. So if you want to pull wheelies, you can turn that off, but still have the protection of the traction control. It's even got slide control, you know, so if the back gets out of line, you can adjust how much of that you want. Only up to 3 settings, so I guess that's probably the only criticism around the electronics. You've only got like 3 levels of traction. You've not got like 10 levels of traction, which you might get on a more sophisticated bike. But 3 levels of traction, but I mean, that's enough, isn't it, really? And like I say, for a middleweight bike to have the IMU and all that lean sensitive, it's incredible. It's incredible. And the interface on the bike as well, the way they've made it so you can access all of that and adjust all of that, it works really, really well. So it's like top marks to Yamaha for that. And they've even thrown in a really decent navigation system as well. So, you know, with a little map on the screen so you can see exactly where you're going. You can't argue with this whole interface and the screen. It's all superb. So let me walk you through some of the little fine details and finishing touches that this machine has, which I think makes it really quite special. Again, I apologise for the filthiness of this machine. I need to sort it out. But you have these beautiful Marlboro coloured, Marlboro, you're allowed to say cigarette companies, but this is what it is. Marlboro inspired paint scheme. The wheels are also in this sort of red and orange. These are that's what they call the spin forged wheels. So they're cast wheels, but then they're spun up and sort of machined with a nice surface on them. You know, so they look a bit like proper forged wheels, these. They're very nice. Sort of the highlight of the bike really is this beautiful cowling and this sort of yellow number board with this Marlboro paint finish and the little headlight down there. I mean, the attention to detail and the paint finish on this bike is truly superb. You know, and when I was on the launch, they spent a lot of time talking about how they achieve the paint, and there's several different processes to go through to get this finish. And like I say, the actual fairing is all pearlescent here. You know, I think they've invested a lot of time. This is all sort of hand masked as well. It's not it's almost sort of hand painted and hand masked. And this is one of the reasons why this bike is sort of £12,500, is I think a lot of that has gone into this paint finish, and it does look beautiful. This belly pan on here is an option. I think it's about a £600 option for the belly pan. It doesn't come with the belly pan standard. And when we were on the launch, it was sort of pointed out that the colour on the main fairing doesn't quite match what's on the belly pan. And we was told, don't worry, you know, the production bikes, the paint will all match perfectly. Well, I don't know if it's my eyes, but I would say there's still not a perfect colour match here. It's so dirty, it's hard to tell. Let me give it a wipe. But this white paint is really pearlescent, whereas this white isn't pearlescent, so there's definitely not quite 100% colour match. Now, I don't know if this is because, you know, this is a press bike, maybe this is one of the early belly pans they had. I don't know. If you've got one of these, you know, proper production version of one of these bikes, and you've bought the optional belly pan, let me know if your paint matches properly on the belly pan, because this one does not. I mean, it's a horrible grey day today, so there's no sun, but this is all a pearlescent finish on here. It's absolutely gorgeous. On the fairing sort of stays, they have these clips, and I love the fact they've got this sort of fairing stay here. And this is actually from a TZR250. So this is a used part, not used, but a remanufactured part from the TZR250. So if you've got a TZR250, I think one of the later reverse cylinder ones, this is off your bike. You can actually order this again now, because it's exactly the same. Again, around the cowlet, nice little bolt finishings. And unlike the rear panels, they've got like the race fasteners. I can't remember what you call them now, it begins with D. Deuce fasteners. So these are like proper sort of race-inspired quick release fasteners. Dash is also superb with this sort of retro gauge. There is a night mode on this where it all goes dark, and I wish you could have the night mode. You can't select the night mode for running it all the time, because the dark mode actually looks a lot better, but I don't think you can select it, which is a bit of a shame. But I love they've taken the time to sort of do some retro styled clocks. Your sample pots are held on with nice little bracketry and button head fixings, you know, really nice. Not just your normal little flapping around bottles, a nice secure fixing for your sample pot. The bike has the new Yamaha sort of switch gear, which is really nice. This I really do actually like this indicator arrangement once you're used to it. And you've got the jog wheel, cruise control. There's still a bit of a waggle in it, like on the AMT system, which I've just sort of checked it because I know the AMT had that and I've noticed it, but it's this little bit, let's call it dampening. There's dampening of the switch gear. At the rear of the bike, you've got these sort of speed holes. And then below that, you've got the tail light, which is sort of quite nicely sort of integrated, isn't it, into the back of the bike. So I like the lighting from the rear. Very nice. The worst thing about the whole motorcycle, and it's the same with all the bikes on this platform, the Tracer the same, the new R9's the same, is this sort of single piece exhaust system, which is truly hideous. You know, there's no other word for it. And you've got a little pea shooters at the bottom. But I mean, that really does spoil the look of the bike, even though the belly pan hides a lot of it. So I guess it looks better than it does on the MT-09. But then exhaust, if I was buying one of these, I'd have to budget for a full system for it, I think, to lose that horrible witchetty grub which resides underneath the bike. When you're thinking of sort of negatives for this bike, there is really not a great deal to say about it, to be honest. Like I say, no illuminated switchgear, ho-hum. I can live with that. At night, the headlight is okay. It's not absolutely brilliant, because other bikes which have this lamp in, this LED light in, like the MT-09, they also have running lights as well. There's no running lights on this, obviously to sort of keep that 80s themed look, and that's I think why they've gone for such a small little headlight. Oh, road closed. I think we can go this way. So I think that's why they've gone for that sort of little headlight. And you know, I've ridden better bikes at night, but riding back from Brands Hatch in the dark, raining, with my dark visor on my helmet because I forgot to take the clear one, it was fine. It was okay, you know. Could be better, but I could certainly live with it. There was nothing wrong, you know. Now when I actually opened my visor, it was actually pretty decent. If the visor closed, it wasn't great, but I think that was more my own fault for wearing a dark visor. So the headlight's reasonably decent at night. You know, the mirrors are very nice. They don't vibrate. I mean, they're on the end of the handlebars, but I think they're all right. It would be nicer to have some mirrors on the cowl, I think. But yeah, they're fine. Those bar ends are fine, aren't they? So overall, you know, this is a fantastic little bike, and if you want something sort of retro looks and lovely to ride, not too uncomfortable, I would say anyone could get on with this riding position. It's not an extreme riding position at all. You know, the fueling's lovely. You know, there's really nothing negative really to say about this bike at all. You even get a little kick at the top. You know, so you still get a kick at the top. It's not all about grunt like a V-twin would be, you know, with nothing at the top. You still get a little kick at the top as well. And the quick shifter blipper is absolutely superb. You can also adjust your wheelie control, so you can choose how high you want the wheel to come up under the wheelie control, which I've tested on the MT-09. That works really well. Not so good if you want to clutch it up, but certainly on the power, it works very well. Let's take it through the Petersfield town centre, and let's see if we get any admiring glances at this beautiful machine. Oh, she loves it. She loves it. She was looking. Look at these two on the right here. No. This fella here with the long hair. No, he's not looking. Hello, sir. Yeah, he saw me. Didn't look at the bike though. He loved it. I'm sure he did. Look, there's this man over here. Look. No, he's not looking. He's not even looking where he's going at all. He's going to get run over. Come on, look, this man here in the blue jacket. No. Oh, that's disappointing. These three ladies, look at this machine. She thought I was eyeing her up. So there we go. Really, the XSR900 GP, it's superb. I would highly recommend this bike. I think this is one of my favourite bikes of the year. to be honest. I think this is one of my favourite bikes of the year which has come out. I think it's fantastic that Yamaha finally sort of embraced their sort of racing heritage. You know, they've got these retro bikes, but what they've done with this is absolutely superb, and I hope the other manufacturers sort of follow suit. I hope this is a good seller for Yamaha. I think they've sold quite well. I think they've sold the allocation, you know, they sold more or less all the allocation of these bikes. You know, they were limited with what they could actually purchase Yamaha UK, and I think they've sold all the ones they purchased, so that's a success, isn't it? I think they could have sold more. So there we go, the XSR900. I hope you've enjoyed that. You know, if you're interested in this bike, try and get hold of one. I don't know what the colours are going to be on this next year. I don't know if it's going to still have this Marlboro paint finish, or whether this was just for the first year, or whether they're coming up with something else next year. I've seen all sorts of sort of concept bikes with every sort of Yamaha colour scheme you can possibly imagine, but I do love this Marlboro sort of coloured one. When at the launch they were talking about this colour, because some people say, oh, they haven't got the colour quite right. Well, apparently when they were like looking to reproduce this colour, they've obviously got a lot of the old YZR motorcycles throughout the years, you know, at the museum, and they said no bike has the same colour paint. They're all slightly different. They looked at all those different paint colours and sort of chose the one which sort of represented that sort of Marlboro colour the most. Because people who say, oh, the colour's not quite right, that's because on the actual real race bikes they varied so much on that paint colour. So this is what they went for, and it really pops. It looks beautiful. If you're going to Motorcycle Live this year, I'm going to be there on the 16th, which I think the Saturday, November the 16th, the Saturday. I'm going to be on the Helmet City stand from 1 o'clock for a couple of hours, probably from 1 till 3. So if you want to come and say hello, have a chat, then I'm going to be there. Helmet City stand. I'll put on the screen the number of the stands. I don't know what the stand number is, but it's on the Helmet City stand, and at 1 o'clock on the Saturday the 16th. Only Saturday the 16th. So if you want to come and find me, have a chat. Greg's coming as well, and I think Womble's coming as well, so it's going to be the three of us there. So if you're free on the 16th, come and find me at 1 o'clock at the Helmet City stand, and we can have a little chat about all things motorcycle. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Keep it rubber side down, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.